And welcome, folks, to a brand new episode of PD&J. What's good today? I am your host, Jay.
And I am your host, Pocket. We'd like to welcome you in on this nice, wonderful week with this beautiful Arizona weather. Man, let me tell you. So glad we got over that cold spell. I'm in short sleeves again.
Don't rub it in for our people back on the East Coast. Don't rub it in.
Hey,
Don't rub it in.
well, we gotta let them know we're keeping it real.
Yeah, beautiful 70-degree weather out here.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But you know, talking about the weather, shout out to prayers up to California and the Southeast. Y'all getting hit with some crazy stuff right now. California with the tsunami and underwater volcano, and then you got on the opposite side, you're getting blizzard-like weather, and you're getting tornadoes, you're getting up. Well, actually, south. I said southeast, right? And then up north. Well, not really north, but Pittsburgh and Baltimore getting. Well, Pittsburgh got hit with 10 inches of snow.
So let me
So
ask you this. Are you blaming it on global warming, or do you think that these are man-made storms?
I'm just gonna blame it on Trump. Why not? That's the latest trend, right?
I guess so. I guess so.
Social media says, "Hey, we got to blame Trump," right? So
We got to blame somebody. I guess he's the only one to blame.
we'll
Yeah,
blame it on the
everybody.
rain.
I'm in a little bit of a somber mood. My Cardinals took an L last night, but it's all good. It's all good.
Well, that's been a topic today, a real big topic. Few people I were talking to, they were saying, and somebody sent me the stat, and I didn't even know it. Cliff Kingsbury, he does great early in the season as a
And then
coach,
tapers off. Yeah, and then
and
he
then
tapers
not even
off.
tapers off. There's no tapering; he just falls off the cliff. Like, he don't even taper. It's not even like a soft landing. He just completely loses it. But last night, I don't put that on him.
I put it on the whole team as a whole. We just didn't show
I
up.
put it on Kyler. What were you doing? Please tell me. I still don't understand that interception. I just don't. And all these records, man. These things, the shortest pick six in NFL history in this playoffs. Like, who comes up with these stats? like,
It's our analytics people. That's who it is.
was, I was like, wow, man, who came up with that stat? But you know what? Hey, it is what it is. But hopefully, another year, another dollar, right? I don't want to say
Yeah.
another failure. I just say another dollar because I mean, money was made.
Well, this is what I will say. It definitely was a good season, seeing how we made the playoffs first time since 2015. So I gotta commend and salute to the players and the organization for doing that. But man, to go out the way that we went out like that, it wasn't even a competitive game, Pocket. It just wasn't even competitive.
Well, Jay, remember this. Remember this. You guys were not even picked to make. You're probably last in your division. Okay, so you got to remember that. You see, y'all get a taste of something. You're doing great in one season, but you got to remember, y'all were not picked to make the playoffs. Y'all weren't even picked to be second in your division. You picked last. So the fact that y'all stayed in first place for so long, and we're doing great for so long until Hopkins went down. If you look at everything on paper, Hopkins went down. That's when everything fell apart. I
I'll
mean,
give you
that's
one
literally
better.
when
I'll give you one better. I think Kyler is still playing hurt. It was from the ankle injury. I don't think he fully healed from that. Never fully recovered from that. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if he has to have off-season surgery on that ankle. I think that for him, he came back too fast.
Well, it's other than the ball. They should have did like the Ravens. I mean, they held Lamar out, didn't they? They said, "No, no, you're not going back out there. You're not healthy yet." He came back in practice limping. It's like, "Nope, we're not doing this to you. We know how our offensive line is not, and they're not protecting."
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
They
What
should have
else?
gave them some hot sauce. Maybe they would have did better.
So, moving on from that one.
Yes, we're on one today, folks. We're on one, maybe two, three, or four, but
Oh
we're definitely
snap!
on.
So
I'm
did
I'm
you?
feeling myself. I'm wearing Pink Floyd today. I'm feeling myself. So
So did you hear that Jake Paul and Mike Tyson might be fighting?
see, when I just made a statement a few weeks ago, boxing is on its way back. I did not specifically say Mike Tyson is on his way back. I said boxing. He is not boxing. He's gonna kill this dude. 50 million?
uh, so Jake Paul talking all that stuff. Now he gonna come across the actual boxer. Wow.
And you know what? It's a wild
Mm.
card because we thought he was going to fight Chavez. Remember, we both said, "Oh, that'd be a nice little." Well,
And that
you
would
more or
be a
less said it's a
nice. I
good
thought
matchup.
that would be a nice little exhibition fight because Jake Paul ain't gonna get off the way that he would on him like he does all the other fighters. But I didn't see this one coming.
No, I didn't. I just think he pissed Tyson off enough. He's like, you know what? You don't want to fight. You want to fight an old man? Fight this old man.
But then again, wasn't Mike
Inside
Tyson
of
and
three.
Evander Holyfield supposed to be fighting too, and that never happened? So
Well,
basically, I'm
because
saying
of
all that to say this: I'm not getting my hopes up high until that actually happens.
well, I'm with you on that. But I mean, if it's 50 million, I don't see Mike turning down 50 million. I mean, that's
I
I,
read it was somewhere in the 70s after all incentives and bonuses and stuff.
I wouldn't doubt it. I think it's just 50 million off the bat, and then you got the 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 press and the pay per view, and it's going to be well over that. It'll probably reach Mayweather type numbers. To
A
be
hundred
honest with you,
million? You
yeah,
think it will
because
pull
people
a
want to
hundred
see Mike.
million?
Somebody, if anybody wants to see him knock them out, it will be Mike. They want to see Mike. They want to see Mike do it.
Mike knock out Jake Paul. All right, fans, all my people that's listening, if you really think that Mike Tyson could knock Jake Paul out, send us a comment. Let us know what's going on.
And I'm thinking, you know what? It'll be a body blow. It's not even going to be. It's not going to be an uppercut. It's going to be a body blow because he
Have
ain't
you?
really been. Yeah,
Go ahead.
it's gonna be a body blow. Because you look at Mike, he works that body, and then Jake, he ain't never been hit. He's never been in the ring with a boxer. This
He
guy
gonna
is
get
and let alone a killer.
he gonna get bullied. He's gonna get bullied in the ring. Oh man.
And you know what's funny? You mentioned bullying. It makes me think. One thing I will say about Jake Paul, he changed his life. I don't know if you heard in the beginning, he was a social media bully. He was. I'm not even just a social media, a bully in school, and he admitted to it. He said uh, when he became a social media YouTube guy that he saw that happening, and he realized that's not a good way to feel. How it made him feel, and he obviously started doing other things outside of it. And I think because of that, I commend him for that. But this whole thing with fighting people that are not fighters, boxers, I mean, come on.
Pocket, I agree with you. At the end of the day, something gonna happen though, and everybody was clamoring for him to get into the ring with the boxer. And so now that hopefully, like I said, I'm not gonna get my hopes up until it actually happens. But if it happens, hopefully he does get his ass knocked out.
Oh, yes. I want to be the Debo to come in. I want to be somebody Debo him in the ring, come in the ring. You know what? You got knocked up. Beep.
Oh man.
Shout out to Tiny. Oh man.
Rest in peace,
Rest in
Tony.
peace.
Rest in peace. Folks, we'll be right back. Pay some bills. When we come right back, we'll get into our topics of the day.
On the season premiere of Discussions with Jay, J Dub has special guest actress and comedian Hope Flood. They have an in depth conversation in regards to her life, her career, what she's doing now, her different struggles, and some of the obstacles she had to face to get to where she's at today. Airing January 21st on YouTube Live and Facebook Live. Tune in.
All right, folks, welcome back to a brand new episode of PD&J. What's good today? I am Jay.
And I am Pocket. And like we said, we're going to get into it. So we started talking a little bit about social media. Wow, how far has it come, huh?
Man,
I mean, it's got to the
start
point.
started as an idea, right?
Started as an idea, and now look at it. You've got Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Twatter, Twitch. I
TikTok.
mean, TikTok. I can't forget about that one. TikTok. I mean, look at it. But the biggest thing to me is with social media became the influx of insecurities being exposed because you
Now,
got
Parker,
all these filters.
let me ask you this: do you think that it's gotten too big for itself, meaning that it's out of human control? It has its own mind now.
You talking about the social media beast as it is?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I do agree with that, and I think because my biggest thing is that we remember we used to talk about like, man, how many of these people are Instagram models? What the heck is that? It's like everybody put in their resume, I am an Instagram model, okay,
Yeah.
or I got my own workout plan. Like how many? All these people do. Who's actually working? Like, and then when they get exposed, they disappear. They take over. The whole platform goes away because they got caught in something. Because why even do it in the first place?
It's
You
pure
know that.
entertainment. That's the whole reason why it was created, was for entertainment, right? But
Well, I would say not only just entertainment, but like I use it because my family. Obviously, I'm from Baltimore, so I have a lot of East Coast relatives. I have relatives all over the place, but this is an easy way to keep in contact with each other. Like, oh, what's Pocket up to? Let me go see his pictures, or look at his wife's pictures because Pocket's pictures are never updated.
well, that's what it started out to be, something to
Yeah.
reconnect
Mhm.
everybody with and stay connected with. But like I said, it took on a minds of its own, and it's its own beast at this point. And I want to touch back onto what we were talking about before we went on break in regards to social media and bullying. Like, it's taken on a mind of its own to the point where you got social media bullies now. What, are you so insecure about your own self that you're going on social media to bully somebody else to make them feel insecure about themselves? Like, what's going on with that?
Right, and you're right about that. And we bring that up because I think I sent you the story that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to touch on it. So there was a cruise that happened. I want to say it was a Carnival cruise. I know it was one of the bigger ones, but where this 15-year-old kid jumped overboard. He didn't hit the water. He jumped from the 16th level down to the 8th level, and they ruled it a suicide. They said nobody pushed him. It wasn't accidental. There was no way it could have been accidental, and it looked like it was a suicide. And it makes you wonder what pushed this kid to the edge. Why is this happening now? Like we need to get this more under control. Like you can bully somebody, and it's one thing, but when you have say, oh, let's go back to Jake Paul. Oh, Jake Paul's a bum. And then all of a sudden you got 15 other comments behind that. Yeah, he's a bum. Oh, I hope he jumps off a bridge. I hope he kills himself. I hope this, that, and the other. You don't know what this does to the human psyche itself. When
Now,
you
let's just
really
say that he
only.
actually does do something like that. And let's just
Mhm.
say that because of his insecurities or whatever case may be, it's caused him to now do what you guys are saying not to do. You guys are bullying somebody and then want to jump on the bully for bullying it. And now there's always a cause and a reaction. There's a reaction, an equal and opposite reaction to every action. And folks have to understand that.
Exactly, and I think that's what we got away from. I think social media, like we said, it took on itself. But the biggest problem with social media is that the beast that it became, it really did become more of a negative connotated beast. Like I said, there's so many filters out there that you got not just women but men putting these filters on. Like, oh man, then you see him in person. Like, wait a minute, is that can't be? Are you catfishing me? Like, what the heck is this? I didn't sign up for that.
Does that
But
show
I mean,
even air anymore?
actually, you know what? It does.
Oh,
I,
wow.
in my household, it's actually watched, not by me, but it's in my household. It's watched.
Oh, wow. I can't believe that
But
show's still on there. But anywho, go ahead. I digress.
but it's just that we got to control it. We got to rein it in. It
How?
it's It's
That's the
really, I mean,
question. How?
well, it starts with parents being parents. Did I say that? I said that, didn't I? I'll say it again. How about that? Parents being parents. You can be a parent to your child and disappoint them sometimes. And what that means by disappointing them is just reprimanding them. That's what I mean by disappointing them, letting them know, hey, no, you're not going to do that in this house, or that's not going to fly here. It's okay to say that sometimes. Now, I know sometimes more than others, you're like, what the with your child? Because I mean, we all do. And sometimes we make our own mistakes and we can admit to it, but you have to be your parent, not your child's friend, your child's parent. Parent your children. And
As
once
I
you start
always
to,
say, as I
Mhm.
always say, there's a time and a place for everything, folks. There's a time to be your child's friend, and there's a time to be a parent. And in this day and age of what's going on, we see what's going on every day. Every day you turn on the news, somebody's kid has lost a life, or God forbid there was something happening at a school, or we just saw what happened in what was it, Texas, at the synagogue, where every so there's too much violence that's going on to not even want to be a parent to protect your child. That's the number one thing that I get from it. Protecting your child, and it's okay to say no. It's okay to take away some things. It's okay to tell them, okay, don't go on the internet. Or if you catch them social media bullying, take their privileges away so that way they don't have access to do so. It's to me, I don't see
But
a
if,
problem in that.
and you know what's gonna happen? But if I take their privileges away, they're not gonna love me as a parent anymore. You know
And you
what? If
care
that's the way you
why?
feel, you should be a parent in the first place. I'm just gonna say it because you need to control the situation. There's too much social media bullying, and it's right. It's happening at the teenage level. Why these teenagers going to school with guns, and then the parents want to run off? I really didn't. I that story there just irked. I
That story pissed me off right there. Like, now let's talk about that. Let just for a moment. Let's talk about that. What do you think should happen to the parents? Because I'll tell you what I
whatever
think.
sentence the son gets, whatever sentence that son gets, they get times two.
You can't agree with me on this one, Pocket. We got to argue about something here.
No, because as a parent, they knew what was going on. Think about it. They knew what was going on.
He
He
said
brought
he
a
bought the
what is
gun.
it, dead animal head to school
He
the week before.
Yeah, and he bought the gun for his son as a
Yeah.
birthday gift.
So you didn't know what your son was going to do with the gun.
Who buys
You didn't
their
know what was going on
15
with
year
his
old?
child.
Who buys a 15-year-old a firearm?
Well, probably the same people that bought a 17-year-old up. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. All right, I'll do it. I'll do it. You're looking at me. I'll do it. Some same people that buy a 17-year-old kid a gun for shooting because they're going to take him out, out yonder. Oh, go shoot some cows. Excuse me, birds. Better not be shooting cows. Price
Oh
of beef then
man.
went up already.
Yeah, I know, right? Jesus Christ. Well, folks, stay tuned. We're gonna continue with this conversation. Any comments, feedback that you may have, definitely send that to us. But stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey, you. Me? Yes, you. What up? Are you ready to take your brand to the next level? Hell yeah! GLM Designs can help you with just that. Word? From laptop skins? You lying! Promotional flyers? Yo, son! Promo videos? I need that! OBS Twitch overlays and backgrounds. Hey, yo, let me get that! Professional one-sheets and so much more. Oh my god. Please visit our website, I'm on it right now! GottaLoveMeWorld.com today to check out our designs. Got it! Follow us on social media at Gotta Love Me World. Follow it! GLM Designs are here to take care of all your graphic needs.
Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. Stay in tune with us, PD&J. What's good today? Again, I am your host, Jay.
And I am your host, Pocket. Just piggybacking on what we're talking about here, catch people up that haven't been in. We're just talking about the social media beast, what it is, and how it's caused bullying, and how can we make that change? Not the Michael Jackson make the change, but we're talking about the actual change. Like how can we make an effect? It starts at home. It really does. It starts at home. If you see your kid bullying, or if you even hear of it happening in school, um, what do you do?
Or if
Well,
you find out that your kid is being bullied.
yes, yes. If you find out your kid's being bullied, I'm going to talk about a few years ago story. So someone was being bullied at my excuse me. One of my children were being bullied at school, so I went up there. They told me what happened, and so I went up there. I went up there and I went. Let's say I need to speak to the principal uh, at the time, and it's like, oh well, you need to, you know how they do it. Well, you need to talk to so and so before you talk to him. I was like, well, I need to talk to somebody because somebody's bullying my child, and if y'all don't want me to go crazy, something needs to change. So they pulled me to the office to speak with the vice principal, and I just basically she's like, oh, start this, that, and other. Now the thing is, before we got to that, here's a situation where I know things need to change. We first told our child to tell the teacher. What does the teacher say? Oh, it's just kids being kids. Huh? No, 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 no. Not in this day and age, it ain't kids being kids. They're not the same kids that how we grew up. It ain't that way. They'll come home and find something, a knife or something, and go into school. So after that, it kept happening. So that's when Dad got involved. Dad got involved and went up there. Mom wanted to go up there. I was like, no, I'm the calmer of the two of us. I will go up there. And so, push come to shove, I said, back in my day, somebody bullied someone, we could take them out back. Our differences were done. You can't do that anymore for any number of reasons. So, afterwards, it stopped happening, and it hasn't happened since. But again, what did I do? I took action. I listened to my child's cry. And we all don't want to hear our children cry.
I think I can speak for everybody when I say this. We've all been bullied, period, point blank. Even the bullies have been bullied. I can tell you a story of my son being bullied in school to the point where I almost found out too late. Meaning, my son was being bullied in school, and instead of coming home and talking to us about it, he wanted to bottle it all in. Okay. Doing that isn't a good idea because I couldn't get the help to my son of what he desperately needed at that time. When you have, let's see, I think he was about 9 or 10 at that time. When you have a 9 or 10 year old that says that they don't want to go to school, that they'll rather be dead than go to school, that lets you know that there's something going on in that
Right.
school.
It's something serious. Yes.
So at that time, without me even knowing what was going on, again, a parent taking a parent's action, my wife and I, we went up to the school to find out what was going on. It took us, which is pretty sad, 2 days to find out what was going on, who it was coming from, and come to find out, I knew the family members. I went to actual school with these individual family members to the point where they didn't have to give me their information. I knew where they stayed at. So I went to their house and we politely had a conversation. And I simply told them, you have your kid stop bullying my kid, or I'm going to bully you, and we'll see who likes it more. Let's just say to this day, he hasn't had any problems. Not saying that that's the route that everybody should go. I'm not. Don't come back and get yourself into some drama and then come back and say J-Dub said to do this, because I'm not paying your legal bills or your legal expenses. That's just not what's going to happen. But at the
I mean,
same
you know what? No,
time,
they can say that, but I'm going to sit back and get my popcorn because I'm like, well, you were dumb enough to do it that way.
well, at the same time, everybody needs to take action. They know what's going on in their neighborhood. They know what's going on to the point where they know what actions they need to take. I mean, Pocket, we're not stupid here. Granted, common sense isn't that common, but folks, please use your mind here. We are talking about your children, and at the end of the day, you don't want to see your children in a situation that you put yourself in that you can't get yourself out of. Now, what example are you setting?
Right. We want to be. I know everyone talks about athletes being role models and actors being role models, but you put them up there and they're going to always let you down in one way or another. The role model for your child should always necessarily be somebody that they have direct contact with, somebody in their life consistently. That's who the
That's
role
a
model should be.
positive representation of what they should be. Let's be
Yes,
clear on
definitely.
that. There are some parents out there, I hate to say it, there's some parents out there that just don't give a fuck and that don't deserve the kids that they got.
I got a question about. I got something for you on that note. So, in that case, what would you consider a deadbeat parent?
A deadbeat parent, somebody that chooses not to have any association in the upbringing or the growing up of that child.
But also, if a parent is raising a child the wrong way, couldn't that be deadbeat as well?
That is, would you consider that to be neglect or deadbeat? Let's look up what deadbeat means or a deadbeat parent. Bear with us, folks. This was an impromptu session here. So a deadbeat. Oh, the first thing when I could pull up deadbeat parenting meeting, it comes up definition of a deadbeat dad. So why is a deadbeat dad the only thing that pops up? There's deadbeat moms out there too. Y'all know who you are. Now, what it says, disapproving. A father who owes money to his former wife to help raise their child but does not pay. That's what the definition of what they call a deadbeat parent or dad.
Now, if you want to take it one step, the Webster's definition: one who persistently fails to pay personal debts or expenses. Interesting. And then you look at another one that says, this is my favorite. I've always liked looking at this one. Informed, informal, a lazy or sociably undesirable person, a person who makes a habit of avoiding or evading his or her responsibilities or debts.
Now, that right there is, I would say that definition right there slaps the nail on the head.
Mm-hmm. You know what's funny? When you mention how it's mentioned about a dad, when you look at deadbeat mom, it's just a totally different definition.
I bet it does. I bet it does. What does it say? I'm sure you have it up.
It refers to someone who does not fulfill the parental responsibilities. Deadbeat mom.
Oh, somebody that what now?
Does not fulfill their parental responsibilities. But however, when it comes to the man, it's monetary.
It's
We're not
always
going to go into
monetary.
that. But I was just bringing that up as a rebuttal. Would that not be considered a deadbeat parent if they raised their child insignificantly the wrong way? And you know what? Technically, that's what a deadbeat mom is it not? What I just read.
Correct. Now let me give you one deeper than that. Now, in regards to that, would a deadbeat parent be considered somebody who raises their child in their own insecurities?
I would say partially yes and
So
partially no. Because you
so
got to
for,
think, how often do we push our kids to be better than what we were at certain things? It's the natural order of things until you
or
get
on
to a
the
point like when you step back, like, wait a minute, I'm not going to push you. That's how I was pushed. I'm not going to push you that way.
that's the natural order of selection, but however, you do have some parents that won't let their kids live just because of their own insecurities.
Or not
So
even their securities or what they have
their
seen.
their experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
What they've seen or what they have exactly they've experienced.
Huh.
And it's funny you brought that up because you think about that. That can be a whole nother show. That goes into something, actually something we had talked about before, about generational.
Hmm. Interesting. Now, I know we're going to get into this on our next segment here, but I just want to kind of segue into it. Teenage, because I know you have a preteen, right? And I'm sure you're probably going through those stages right now where she's feeling a little bit insecure in herself about certain things, certain aspects of life, that certain natural things of what's happening in life. And she probably feels a certain type of way about herself or whatever case may be. What do you do or how do you handle that?
So what you have to understand, one thing as you get your child coming up into those teen years, you want to kind of you've been you've been sheltered, you shelter them somewhat, you release them, let them kind of like let them leave, let them go out, experience things, and then you always be there for them to lean onto. Now as I get into that teenage era, where they want to hang out in their area of the house all day, every day. You see them maybe 2 times a day to eat, or wherever, so whatever it may be. Okay, fine. But also, you have to look at certain things, And what I mean by that, look for there's like they say poker, they have tells. And what I mean by that, you can always tell when something's wrong with your child. You can, even if you don't subconsciously believe you do, you can if just use these right here. Your eyes. That's what I'm talking about. Your eyes. Use those because they'll always help you. Even when nothing else is working right. If your mind's not working right, your eyes will never fail you. Look at process what you're looking at. You'll be able to tell if something's wrong. And then every now and then, just check in. Hey, what's going on? Oh, nothing. Because we talk about school all the time. It's one thing we always do. School is paramount in our house. It's like most houses it should be. But and then as you're talking about that, have the conversation going into other things every now and then. Just ask about different things. Don't ask about the same thing. Don't make it a list, a checklist to go off. Oh, I asked about this. I know. Make it an organic conversation with your child, just like you would have
Just
with
as natural as you possibly can.
Exactly. Make it organic, natural. If you don't understand what I mean by organic, natural, just natural. Oh, how was your day in school? Oh, well, how is so and so doing? You still talk to them? And then if they're not,
That
guess
is
what?
key. That is key right there. What you just said in regards to friendships. Now I know we producers in my ear. We got to go to commercial, but I know we're going to talk about that on our next one, on our next segment in regards to friends and how they can cause some insecurities within oneself and different things of that nature. So definitely
Different
stay
friends
with us.
groups. Yeah, different friend groups.
Exactly. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
On the season premiere of Discussions with Jay, J-Dub has special guest actress and comedian Hope Flood. They have an in-depth conversation in regards to her life, her career, what she's doing now, her different struggles, and some of the obstacles she had to face to get to where she's at today. Airing January 21st on YouTube Live and Facebook Live. Tune in.
All right.
What's
poppin',
good
folks?
today?
And with PD&J, I am Jay.
I am Pocket.
And we're just sitting back and we're talking about different insecurities on very different levels. Right now, we're talking in regards to teenage levels. Pocket, in regards to your teenager, what kind of insecurities have you noticed in regards to yours? Because with mine, I see now that he's getting into himself. He's growing into his body now. Faces going through the puberty stages and voices changing. So those are the natural things that we're dealing with in regards to that. And he knows that it's just natural, but for him, he just doesn't like to talk because his voice is at that pitchy, crackety time of his life right now. It's kind of funny when listening to him talk sometimes. It really is. But I know you're dealing with some things on your end. Like what type of insecurities are you dealing with on your end?
It's I don't think it's insecurity. You go through there where they have these cliques, and it's just you think about it when you went back in school. It's like, man, I used to do that stuff too. Holy
Exactly.
cow!
Yeah.
And then you think, well, maybe you can be there for your child, not to have to experience some of the things. Like there was a few years ago where people were talking about my child and took it to heart and came home, and my wife and I talked to her, and I had a side conversation with her, and I was like, you're going to go through stages of friends. Some friends you may have for a lifetime. Some come in, as they say, for a season. Some are in it for life. You'll be able to talk to them. You'll be able to be friends with them forever. So
So
you
how
can't
can your
necessarily. I know
friends
it hurts
cause
when you.
how can your friends help cause certain insecurities? Would be my question. The clicks and
Well,
the
you know what?
voices.
It boils down to, unfortunately, there's, as we know, in life, some families don't have as much as other ones, right? So
Yeah.
we want to uh, not let them delve on that. We always say, hey, don't the newest stuff you get, don't necessarily always take it to school. Don't necessarily broadcast it. You don't have to do all that. Don't talk about everything you have, because maybe somebody in your friend group that doesn't have, and that's going to be the one that's going to be insecure. And then what are they
You're
going to do? They're going
jealous.
to make you feel insecure by pointing out things about you that you may or may not want known.
Make you feel guilty
And that's
about
when you'll
having
start
certain
having
things.
the falling out, the
Yeah.
the friends group, the two friends fighting out in the schoolyard, hopefully fighting and not stabbing each other and not going to that extreme. And then, fight it out, then you make up and you go on. That was the old school way. You fought out in the schoolyard, right? Then
Yeah.
y'all fought that day. The next day, or within a week or so, you guys are, hey man, what's up? Hey, you good? You good? Yeah, it was all good. All right, yeah, everything's fine, man. I'm cool. I'm cool. You cool? Yeah. All right. Now, every once in a while, you had that one person that you didn't get along with. It was a fight after fight after fight after fight. Fight on site.
Iro- Ironically, that was how I met my best friend at one point in time. You know what I mean? We didn't necessarily like one another, but at the same time, I wouldn't necessarily, I would call him my bully at the time, but I just got fed up with him, and we had it out in the school parking lot one day. But then, just like you said, this was old school back in the day. After all said and done, maybe a week went by. Next thing I know, his sister buying me lunch, and we sitting at the same table. Everything's all hunky dory. We good. So it's just kind of crazy. But these cliques, I never knew how powerful a clique was back in high school the way that it is now. Never realized it. Never did I until I see what's going on with kids nowadays. It's funny.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're totally right about that. It's and I don't think it's the power of the click. It's the power of how social media, now the clicks have that, where they can do different things. Um, as far as, well, I can bully you now in school and I can bully you online. And guess what? Now everybody else is going to be on it right behind what I say. And they're going to be people you don't even know. So
Yeah.
and then that's what so that's what people got to understand. I was like, people, social media is powerful, but but you know what I just thought, it would just pop to my head. Not only is social media powerful, but the words that are used on social media.
Well,
That's like,
let's just break down those two words: social and then media. The media plays a factor into it just as well because it's an outlet. It's a media outlet, and just like we could sit back and use this as a media outlet for ourselves, social media is becoming out of control where anything and everything can be done on social media nowadays. I was watching a video where kids are blatantly bullying this teacher, a teacher, Pocket, a teacher. Can you believe that?
I'm glad you brought that up. I don't even think this is definitely impromptu. I'm glad you brought that up. So there, um, that there was a sign of a lack of total disrespect for any kind of authority, because it was more than a teacher in that room. I don't know if you know, it was a teacher helper, and it was the teacher, and it was like another adult in that room. And when the girl got on camera, even more, they said she got louder.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got louder. So what does that say? Oh, she wants to go viral. And
That's
that's
all they want. That's all that matters. I want to go viral because, hey, guess what? Maybe if I go viral, I won't have to get a 9 to 5. This is the new 9 to 5. Just like you said at the beginning of our show here, everybody wants to be a social media influencer because instead of taking responsibility of their life, they'd rather do whatever it is that they can.
Yeah, and that's scary, man. You think about it. These kids, they feel like they have to act up and act out to go viral.
Just think about what you just said. Say that again.
Act up and act out to go viral. So remember how they always say, "I'll be glad when," or what's that one meme that comes out? I'll be glad when common sense and um, come on, what is it? It says common sense in morals, or something in morals, come back in style.
Hmm. Well, like I always tell my kids, Common sense ain't that common, but I'll be damned if you got common sense.
Respect and morals. That's what it is. It's respect and morals. I had to think about it. Respect and morals. I'll be glad when they come back in style, or somebody does a
Quality check.
yeah. Well, not well, not only that, because I mean, quality check back in the day was you got your chin checked.
Yeah, pretty much.
That was a quality
Hey,
check.
I
My
remember
older
back.
brothers chin checked.
I, I remember back in the day where they say it took a neighborhood to raise a child. That was the God's honest truth. And when I say that, I remember if I got in trouble at school before I even got home, I got my ass whipped by Miss Johnson, by Miss Jones, and by Miss Davis. Right, and that was before I got home. And I guarantee you, my big mama knew before I even got home as well.
Yeah, it. I hate talking about those days because those were the glory days. But can you honestly say you know any of your neighbors right now? I mean,
I know two of my neighbors.
I know like I think well I'll say three. I'll say I know three of my neighbors, and only one of them only because his son's ball comes to my yard all the time. So, so
But I mean, I get what you're saying because back in the day, you knew everybody in the neighborhood.
people are scared. I mean, people are scared to know their neighbors. You can be living next to a serial killer. You won't find out till there's three dead bodies they found. Oh man, I knew something was off with him. Did you
But that
really?
goes back to what we're talking about. Even us as adults, we have our insecurities about certain things. Obviously, nowadays there's a big insecurity where people don't know their don't know their neighbors the way that they should know their neighbors, or let alone want to know their neighbors.
You know,
There's some neighbors that I choose not to know as well. I
so
mean,
you know
let's
what's
just be
funny?
real.
Back when my wife and I moved in the neighborhood, um, the neighbors across the street, they're no longer there. I hope they're still living or they moved. They brought a plate of cookies. I had not seen that happen in years. I
Huh.
mean, years. And I was like, they invited, welcome to the neighborhood. We were like, what? What? So, as a respect, us being us, we, took something across the street to them, like, well, thank you. What happens there? Then my neighbor next to me, we got to know them pretty well till they moved. And now the new neighbors, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I like, so it just goes back to I think just honestly, what is that? IDTV? Is it the one with the crazy people? IDTV. Well, one of those television stations where they're that's it. The IDTV. I think every
Investigation
female probably
Discovery.
watches this.
Yeah. The ID channel.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it scared people from talking to their neighbors. So
Oh, they still
I
do
really
that to
do.
that neighbor.
I mean, I really do. I was like, you think about how things are done nowadays. I think that maybe that's what happened. We'll put it on that. We'll put it on that.
Well,
Um,
to
but
sum
honestly,
everything
people,
up, to in regards to the insecurities, I wanted to touch on this real quick, Pocket. In regards to that, everybody has their insecurities. It's a form of, in my opinion, it's a form of normalcy. It means that you're growing and you're growing. Period. Point blank. Whether you're a child into a teenager, or a teenager to a young adult to an adult, right, and all the way up. It's a form of maturing. The key is, and I strongly believe this, the key is don't let your insecurities consume you. Don't let them overcome you. You can overcome your insecurities just as good as you facing a bully. The best way to face a bully is to face a bully head on. Period. Point blank. So when it comes to insecurities, I do believe that it's a natural thing that happens throughout life. But again, don't let it overconsume you. Pocket, anything you want to add to that?
yeah, I was. We're this conversation we had was I think is very fruitful for a lot of people. But what I want everyone to do, there's something called the drama triangle. Look at it. Reason being, it will help open your eyes to a lot of things in life. Um, at my job, I did a presentation with this. I think last year, end of last year, in December, about the drama triangle. It's something I learned earlier last year in a class I had taken, and it really opened my eyes. I was like, "Wow, I'm a little bit of all this." And I'm not going to go into detail. There's different ones, and we don't have much time for me to go into that. And actually,
No, we
when
got
we
y'all. Go ahead, touch on them. Touch on them, because I think they
so
need to hear this. So, as far as the time limit goes, or whatever case may be, we'll eat that.
no, we'll do an extra bill, right? So what I'm talking about, like there's certain things within the drama triangle called the creator versus the victim. That's one portion of it. There's the challenger versus villain. There's the coach versus hero, and the mentalities of all of them. Where do we fit? Now, I want people to understand when I say look at the drama triangle. You hear the word drama, it always has a negative connotation, does it not? It's gotten from the point where it could be a level headed thing, but every time you hear drama, what do you say? Oh man, save the drama for your mama. Oh, you're bringing that drama here. But honestly, not every time is drama and should be in a negative connotation. So look at the drama triangle, search it, Google it. Trust me, it'll help change your mind. And if you can't find it, feel free to reach out. I have, I have it. I can send it. I'm not going to put it here, but I can send it to you and let you take a look because it's one of those things I believe that would help all of us help first acknowledging that we all have insecurities. That's number one. That's the first thing we want to do. And then start number two, working towards fixing or getting better at fixing or reaching out for help for your insecurity, whatever it may be. It could be as simple as a mole on your face to the weight that you now carry that you didn't have before. Whatever your insecurity is, really nothing that you should be insecure about. Walk in your purpose, walk in what you are. All right. And if you need help with that, trust me, look at the drama triangle. It's huge.
And those that feed off of other people's insecurities, stop. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have your insecurities thrown right back in your face. And then how is that going to make you feel? Don't be
Actually,
a
I'm not
dummy.
going to say that. If you are pushing your insecurity on someone else, you're going to learn your lesson this year.
This year is going to be the year of a lot of change. I strongly believe that. Not only do I believe it, I know for a fact this year is going to be a year that a lot of things that were down will now be up, and up will now be down. It's going to be an opposite year for a lot of people. So get right, get right. All right,
You have to
folks.
go to you have to go to the two words again. Get right now. Go there again. Get right now.
Folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back with our closing remarks.
Hey, you. Me? Yes, you. What up? Are you ready to take your brand to the next level? Hell yeah! GLM Designs can help you with just that. Word? From laptop skins, you lying, promotional flyers, yo son, promo videos, I need that, OBS Twitch overlays and backgrounds, hey yo, let me get that, professional one sheets, and so much more. Oh my god. Please visit our website, I'm on it right now, GottaLoveMeWorld.com today to check out our designs. Got it! Follow us on social media at Gotta Love Me World. Follow it! GLM Designs are here to take care of all your graphic needs.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. Pocket, I really think that this was more of our educational podcast today rather than our free flowing, fun type podcast. What do you think?
Well, I believe it was very educational.
Educational. Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah, I believe it's like we said, we're gonna have days like this, we're gonna have podcasts like this, but we want everyone to know. Now, this is actually another one that was sent from one of our patrons here. So again, we're listening. You tell us what you want to hear, and if it's within scope, we'll talk about it.
Now, if this is something crazy off the board and obscene, just forget it, folks. We're just not gonna talk about something that's just rudimentally just not right. We're not going to talk about certain things. There's just certain things that will not be discussed on this platform, but for the most part, we're an open concept platform. We'll talk about majority of the issues, majority of the popular issues that are taking place, and again, we're going to discuss things that aren't in the main scope of media, but we feel you need to know about. So, and for all of our new listeners here, definitely hit the subscribe button so that way you get all of our alerts of all of our new podcasts. And even for our old listeners here, if there's an episode that you didn't catch, go back on our YouTube page. All of our episodes are right there. Catch up. That way you'll know exactly where we stand. We know where you stand.
Like Jay just said, if you like the vibe, please subscribe. What can we say?
Again, this has been a great episode of PD&J. What's good today? I am your host, Jay.
And I'm your host, Pocket. And you know what, man? You've got the commercials flowing, we got all that, but I'm gonna say it myself since you're trying not to toot your own horn. We got something coming for y'all this Friday. Unbelievable. The Hope Flood.
The
Oh,
Hope
NJ.
Flood.
I forgot. And NJ, he's gonna be there too. But the Hope Flood.
I
Live.
mean,
Well, not live, but loud and in charge with some in-depth discussions. And let us know what you think about that. You gotta tune in, folks. You gotta tune in.
yeah, definitely subscribe to that. That's going to be a exclusive, very exclusive interview. Seeing how she doesn't readily do a lot of podcasts or a lot of interviews, I did get the pleasure and the privilege and the honor to be able to interview her. It was a great discussion that we had. Definitely tune into that. We talk about COVID. We talk about her ups and downs and her obstacles and ins and outs of just being in the industry. Very in depth. And she's an entrepreneur herself. So definitely stay tuned and check out that episode that's coming up Friday. All right. Until then, we'll see you every Tuesday. So catch us next week and definitely hit that subscribe button. Pocket. Until then, you have yourself a good day, sir.
Until then, Jay, you as well. Remember, if you